And we're back, people. Deluded. I'm back again. I'm joined by Jess, as I typically am on a Thursday. How you doing, Jess? Man, you in good spirits? The lateness is my fault. It's my fault. I'm not like Jess. When it's actually my fault, I take responsibility. That's what captains do. But fair play.
All I have to say is Wembley, Wembley. I'm so excited to go to Wembley. I'm still kind of like in that mode. So yeah, I'm gassed.
I mean, you said it, and we're gonna get into it. We're happy to be at Wembley. Boy, who's a follower of my platform and also yours. He's on you. He's saying Jess doesn't believe, bro. She's shook. I saw that post United video. Jess about to get gold at the Shook Olympics. I mean, everyone was shook after United, but like, what do you say to that?
Oh, I feel nothing. We had dropped points in 3 games in a row, and going to Wembley has nothing to do with the Premier League. The Sunderland game is super important. So really, I feel nothing, guys. I really don't. We weren't playing well. Performances were not good. And I stand by what I said. If we keep playing like that, we will not win the league. Is there any lies told? Like, let's be serious. That Man United game was horrendous. Like, I literally had to stay off socials for like 3 days. So I regret nothing, Dio.
I don't think
Nothing.
you're wrong with that, and it's a bit weird. In fact, let's start there. Yeah, on the topic of us playing well, I think you say it, I say it, everyone can see it, and it's one where you kind of look at it as a twofold. In that, we're happy. There's a lot of things to like about how we're playing and what we're doing, but in terms of attacking football, addressing the evident areas of improvement from last season, and all the little isms and schisms, individually and collectively, it hasn't been there. But we are in February, and that's where I say we look at it in a twofold. In that, we're saying all of this. We're into a cup final with Wembley. We're still top of the table. It was all doom and gloom against United, but we're still top. We've done what we're doing in the Champions League, and so far we're in the FA Cup. So for me, if it all kicks into place, we're laughing. But like, how do you view that? Is it just a thing where you've come to accept that, you know what, if we're playing like this, I can have my comments, but if it ends in silverware, who cares? Or are you still concerned about playing style?
It's not really to me about the playing style. It's more about the times that the kind of patterns that we've seen. We could play like this, like the way that we played against Leeds is not dissimilar to the way that we usually play. We kind of are like, we're not the most fluid. We score off of set pieces. The biggest difference is we didn't let them back into the game after we scored. We didn't get nervous. We scored the second goal right away to make the game, pretty much done, dead and buried. We didn't give up a silly goal late in the game or anything like that. And the entire team played a part. The people that came on made a difference as well. Those are things we haven't been seeing. So the style didn't really change, in my opinion. I don't think the style was like totally different, right? It wasn't like liquid footy or anything. So for me, it's more about those patterns. And we had been speaking about it. Where are these late goals coming from? Why are we conceding these late goals? Why does it feel like when the other team scores or when we score, the other team just kind of like gets so much stronger and then they score? Why does it feel like we have to give up this goal? So from my perspective, like, I don't care if we play like this. The style has been the style for 3 years now. I've accepted the style. What I don't really like is those weird patterns that we slipped into. And to be fair to us, the last 2 games that we played, clean sheets, so the clean sheets are back, no silly goals. That's all I really ask. It's not about the style for me.
I don't think you're wrong, man. Style is one thing. And like I said, we can nitpick. If it results in silverware, great. But we can't act shameless and deny what's in front of our eyes. Like, I've been very vocal on this. I think we dropped off a cliff. That's an exaggeration. We dropped a level defensively, but we're still ticking. The attack, whether it's on the individuals or the collective with Mikel Arteta, it's all got to come into place. But if I'm honest, we've been bitching about this since August. We are in February and we're still saying all of this, but we're still ticking over. At some point, the eye test, the data, all of these things are going to correlate, man. But it is what it is, man. Any questions, let us get them in, people. Don't forget to subscribe to Jess. I can't imagine you're not, but make sure you are. Jess, let's crack on, man. Let me share my screen with you guys, man. Then let's address the obvious.
See those tabs.
Pardon me?
Let's see them tabs.
How Do you know what? They're better today. They're better. Come on, they're better today. They're better today. It's not as mad. It's not as mad. And half of these tabs are because I'm going to ask you questions, like they're for you and the chat. Like, they're for you and the chat. Like, oh my God, this is the planning I do to make sure you have a great channel and you have a great platform, people. This is Jess, man, you're doing me dirty.
Okay. yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
These are for you, you know. Like, it's for you. It's for you, man. Nah, these are rookie number of times. Yeah, exactly. I'm on my best behavior. Is that even 50? Listen, let's not count. I don't want to give Jess anxiety.
It's at least 30.
Things first, yeah. Before I talk about the obvious, how does it feel to be unbeaten in the last 10 games in all comps against Chelsea? Mad.
It's wild. But at the same time, like, I don't know what made them think they were coming to the Emirates to do anything. Like, I was like, this just isn't, I saw a lot of them like on socials talking about like we used to slap these, we used to slap these.
War stories.
Baby, it is not 2016, 2017 anymore.
It's not
like,
Drogba against 7-year-olds anymore.
Yeah, like when are you guys gonna kind of like wake up? I get that, and they're always saying that like we're not that far away from them, they're not that far away from them. You guys have been saying that for like many years now. I don't think Chelsea are a bad team. I think they're a pretty good team, and they have some talent. But you were never coming to the Emirates to slap us. Like that was never going to happen. I don't know, but it does feel good because, in the past they did get the better of us, and now we kind of have the better of them. I think we kind of have a good like thing with our London rivals. Like when it comes to Chelsea and Tottenham, we kind of are like, it's giving red, it's not giving white, and it's not giving blue.
London's red, and it's always going to be red.
100%. I do think that like, the cherry on top is winning things. I think if we can start putting some trophies down as well, like we definitely can say that with like full chest all the time. I feel like that's probably the only thing missing, but it does feel good. It always feels good to get one over on rivals. Like it always does. And seeing them cry, literally and figuratively, Wesley Fofana, was hilarious.
That was thank you, God. That would to see Fofana cry in tears, yeah, because I know they were gonna say, "Oh my God, Arsenal players and fans, they're celebrating, and it's only the League Cup." Your player was crying, and obviously, I do think as football fans, yeah, we're a bit snooty because obviously Fofana's playing for Chelsea, he's a French international. 9 times out of 10, he's gonna win silverware, but trophies are not a given as a professional footballer, and it is a chance to go through to a final and win things and whatnot. So, agenda aside, I understand the emotions. I mean, I wouldn't be like Fofana crying on national TV and that, or Enzo Fernandez, and it was even more poetic. Enzo was crying. Maybe Fofana was crying because he's been pictured in an Arsenal shirt, but it's lovely. I want to ask, yeah. How do you view the League Cup? Because obviously you got the Premier League champs, you got the FA Cup, you got the League Cup. I know being an Arsenal fan, we're kind of on this. We just need to get silverware. We need to start building stuff. But going into the season, where was the League Cup on your priority list?
I mean, going into the season, it's not the biggest priority. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say that it's top of the list. It was definitely down. It's the bottom of the 4. That being said, just because something is at the bottom of your priority list doesn't mean it is not a priority to win it. It's still something that you want to get done. And I've been really consistent over the last, I want to say 4 seasons now. Back 22-23 season, I was banging on the drum that Arsenal need to get to a final and win something. The longer that it goes, the worse, it's like the pressure is getting worser. Like that's how it gets, So even if it's a small thing, and we know this in life because you can apply it to your own life. If you do something and you achieve something small, you all of a sudden can see that becoming something bigger because you have proof of concept that you can do something. And I feel like with this team, they just need to win something. They need anything, not a community shield for the people. I know somebody's going to be pedantic and be like, but the
English Super Cup,
the English Super Cup. You guys know what I mean, right? So because it's the first thing on offer and we are in a place that's really good in the league, I do think that if you get to March 22nd and you win that and you're still top of the league and you have a little cushion, it's going to propel this team even more. They just need a little extra something. And I think winning, especially beating City to it, would give them a little something. So I'm not going to sit here and say we need to throw everything else away and focus on the Carabao. But as we've already seen this season, we don't have to throw anything away in order to be good in multiple competitions. And the idea, I feel like we fell into that a lot in past seasons where it was like, but we got to prioritize bigger fish to fry. This team is more than good enough to compete on all 4 fronts. We probably won't win everything, but we should give it a good go.
And that's the whole point. Like, while you're in it, you might as well try win it. Like, I'm with Jess in that. Okay, cool. People are not singing from the rooftops. They want to win the League Cup. But at the end of the day, yeah, all the statistics, all the eye tests, all what we've been doing in the last 3 years, obviously 4 years now, reflect that we're obviously a good football team. It is now about getting over the line. It is about whetting the appetite, being at Wembley, seeing the fans, winning silverware, knowing that your efforts aren't in vain, because ultimately that's been the case. Last season, I was disappointed. We got to a semi-final, we shat the bed. You've done better in that regards. And as you said, it could propel us to go and do things. Jess never said this, I never said this, and some of the chat might have said this or whatnot. Yeah. I'm not saying your expectations can't raise. Obviously, we want the Prem or the champs in addition to this League Cup. We do need to get over the line. But a lot of fans, a lot of football fans, let alone Arsenal fans, there were vocal ones. They said a trophy's a trophy. What's the point finishing second? You want to win silverware. When Newcastle won, when Palace won, when Spurs won, it was all a trophy, a trophy. So for them lot with that rhetoric, if we do win a bit of silverware, you don't kind of have to shut your mouth. And it is a bit of a monkey off the back. Like, you look through the majority of our team, they've won stuff at other clubs and done stuff, but as a collective unit, you haven't achieved what needs to be achieved in it. So whet the appetite, let's go and win, and hopefully it's a precursor. We all know City have won this competition a crazy amount of time, so it helps in that regards. And who doesn't want a day out at Wembley? You mentioned it there, yeah, Jess. And to be devil's advocate, I don't think you're wrong in that. Obviously, if you win this, it gasses us. It gives us a bit of an extra spring in our steps to keep going for the league. Being purely devil's advocate and flipping it, yeah, if we do lose the final, could it have a negative knock-on effect then?
I mean, potentially I can, I kind of thought about that on the flip side. Like, if we lose, then what happens? But
Yeah.
I think ultimately you have to go into it as, if we win it, we use it as gas. If we lose it, we throw it away. We have to, it's hard to compartmentalize, but I feel like these are elite athletes with elite mentalities. You have to be able to compartmentalize it and not only use the parts that suit your narrative. So win it, use it to go forward. If not, it's just a cup. It was one day out. We're still, hopefully at that point, we'll still be ahead and have a good cushion, move forward. But yeah, I mean, there's always it could backfire. But, I also just think that they need to get to a final. Even if we lose it, they need to get to a final. They need to know what it feels like, because this may not be the only final that we get to. I think the more that you're in, it sounds simple to say, the more likely you are to win. The chances are in your favor. So even if it's not this one, if we get to another final, maybe it's a 50-50 chance. I don't know. We just need to get to it. We'll deal with the consequences after. That's how I feel. I don't want to not be there because we potentially could lose and it could derail. I want to get there and see what happens.
Exactly, man. And that's it. Silverware. It's about making history. Yeah, people aren't looking at the League Cup as, this is all fancy and hunky-dory, but it would, provided we win, it says Arsenal 2026, you lot get your medals, and it whets the appetite, really. It just makes you more hungry for more. It's a bit of a full circle moment for me, Jess, and I want to know if you feel the same way, because obviously since Arteta's been here, there was a point, you can almost disregard City, but there was a point, games against City, absolute write-off. They'll pat us on our heads. You lot are good lads. You keep doing your thing. Then we transition to where we'd compete across 90 minutes. Some fine margin or one lapse of concentration would be the difference between City winning and us winning. And you could see from a tactical point of view. Then obviously we started getting 1-2 results against City or doing quite well. And we see the whole bust up with Nicholas Hover and Kyle Walker, Miles Lewis-Skelly and whatnot. And it's almost like it's a full circle moment, because you can see here, the last time we was in this competition, ironically against them, we lost 3-0. Does it feel like a full circle moment for you, or is it just signifies the trajectory we've been on?
I mean, a little bit. I do think that there's like an element of, I love a storyline and I love a narrative, and looking at, the end of our sin and the way we went outside in that Carabao Cup.
I'll never forgive Mustafi.
Yeah, how that kind of ended. And that was Pep's first, trophy in England. This technically wouldn't be Arteta's first in England, but it would be the first with this team. And, as I know, people will be like, Pep isn't washed, and that's not what I'm saying, but maybe we're kind of seeing the end of him. There's talks of him like maybe not staying, and maybe there's an element of, Arsene was fading and Pep was rising, and maybe Pep is fading and Arteta's rising, and this could be Arteta's first trophy with this group, kind of like how Pep did.
So Wembley in a final like this with the fans.
Yeah, it's the exact same competition. It feels eerily similar. So let's see. But I also think, just like in general, looking at this picture, I always kind of have felt like there's something with City. with Mikel, where there's not that with other teams. Other big teams, we've kind of gotten that monkey off of our back early. But with City, it's taken us a long time to kind of get over whatever it is with City. And I feel like it is the connection to Pep, and it's Arteta having immense respect for Pep, and us kind of like, when we beat them in the Community Shield, that was like a big deal for us. And it maybe shouldn't have been, but it was. So he needs to get one over on him in a final.
I've got a question that's slightly off topic, but on topic. Yeah.
Yeah. Go on.
The finals obviously next month, and a lot could change. But are you gonna continue with Kepa, or are you gonna put Raya in? If you was obviously the gaffer,
I would have played Raya in the semifinal.
This is what I said, but I have to ask.
So he's playing my final.
Are we wrong for that?
Huh?
Are we wrong for that though?
No, because there was other players that had gotten us to that stage against Chelsea in the Carabao Cup, like Ethan and Eze, and I know Eze played in the the home leg, but had Odegaard or Marino been fit, he wouldn't have played. So those are players that played in those early stages and got us there, and were dropped. Kepa's the only one who hasn't been dropped for the stronger players. So I don't know what it is about Kepa. Is it? I don't know. Is it Spanish? Like, what is it? Like, why can't you drop him? So I don't know. I'm dropping him.
But is that the right decision though? Being devil's advocate to drop him, because Raya is obviously better than Kepa, but Kepa's obviously got us here. He is experienced. He isn't the worst a keeper. You will have a good back four in front of him.
Anything wrong, but there is a big difference between your number 2 and your number 1, which makes sense. I think keeping Kepa in is solely based on sentimentality. And I just feel at this stage, with so much on the line, we cannot afford to be sentimental, because if we end up not winning, the first thing I'm thinking back is like, fuck, we should have played Raya, or something. And I don't want any regrets. I know they probably won't have regrets. I would feel like, so also we have the FA Cup. He's going to play in those games. I feel like you got to go with your strongest, but I kind of agree with Wade. I don't think he'll drop him. I think he'll stick with him. The comments that he made after the thing and Inaki Kanya and all that, they're probably going to stick with him. Just win. Just win. I wouldn't, but just win.
Because you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. Like, don't get twisted. Disclaimer out there. Whoever goes out there, we back them. You could, like, Jess wants Raya, I want Raya. We could play Raya, and God forbid he makes a mistake. Naturally, the talk would have been you should have stayed with Kepa. Kepa could play, and we hope if he does play, has a great game. You're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. Whoever goes out there, just win the game, really. It's a full circle moment for Kepa, because if you do start and you're getting subbed, don't do that nonsense you was doing at Chelsea. It's not going to end well. My hot take is I think Kepa's going to leave at the end of the season, because I reckon he still thinks, and he probably could cut himself as a number 1 somewhere, but that's just me.
Yeah, and I think I see like Wade is saying, like, so if we don't win, it would be Kepa's fault, and that's not what I'm saying.
No, nobody's saying that.
What I'm saying is that I feel like don't be disingenuous and act like if we don't win, one of the questions won't be, should you have played your strongest keeper, if it comes down to like a save or something. So it's not about blaming Kepa. It's about, off the pitch, did the people in charge, the coaching staff, make the right decision? And was that the best? That doesn't have anything to do with Kepa. I would not blame Kepa, because I expect him to be a number 2, and I expect him to be not as good as Raya. So the drop off is expected. It's not about Kepa. It's about, did we make the right decision? So not blaming him,
It's as simple as that. Like, obviously, if Kepa plays and we lose, but he's been good, you're a liar if you make it about Kepa. Obviously, if Kepa plays and he drops a clanger, or Raya the same, because don't get twisted. This is where football, including myself, would be hypocritical. Raya plays, he makes a mistake. We went with our number 1. What happened there? I guess when you're just in the final, simply put, just get over the line, man. Yeah. I'm jumping ahead, but how do you look at it against City? Because you could argue that they've been there, they've done it, they've worn the t-shirt. Plenty of their players and definitely their manager have won this cup 20 million times, isn't it? This would be the first one, assuming we do it. Like, is it an advantage or a disadvantage in that regards in the final then?
I mean, I think it is an advantage to have had so much good kind of experiences in a competition, going up against a team that has none, really. But
Mm.
all that didn't really change what happened against Crystal Palace last season, you know?
Mm.
Um, so it's
Or
all
Newcastle
about,
and Liverpool.
yeah, everything goes out the window. So, yes, experience is there. Of course, experience is there. And that would be something that they would look at and say, we've been there and done it before. You know, this is our competition. We've done it. But from an Arsenal perspective, it is what it is. You know, we're going to be less experienced than everybody we come up against in most positions, you know, unless we have played against a lower level team. So I think we just have to think it's all of that goes out the window. If we play our game and we play against them and not the badge and not their experience, and we just play mano y
Play the
mano,
game, not the occasion, as difficult as it is
yeah,
to
then
say
we
that.
should be feeling confident. You know, we've been able to beat City quite a few times recently, and they haven't beat us in a minute, you know, so we shouldn't go into it thinking about, oh my gosh, they've won so many times. You just have to rise it. You must.
In
You
fact,
know,
we
that's
have
kind of how
no
I feel
choice.
about
You
it.
got yourself there. Like I said
Yeah.
it before. I said when you got to the semi-final, like I always start off with the League Cup. I care. On one hand, I'm on this just winning everything. Just win everything. You're in it, have a chance. Obviously, when you start getting to the knockouts, you done the legwork. You might as well get there. Like when we got to the semi-finals last year, and I still don't know which was worse, the first leg against Newcastle or the second. But you got to the semi-finals. Forget the fact of silverware. Just in terms of year-in-year progress, if you got to a semis, by default, the only progress is getting to a final and winning it. So that's
Yeah.
what we stand to do. So big up the boys for that. That's why there's depth. Go out there and just get the job done. We're doing a
Agreed.
lot of, before we kind of circle back on Arsenal City, yeah, like I think we're doing a disservice to the people in the chat. Smash the like button and subscribe to Jess. Obviously, it weren't the most amazing of games. Kai, scored against Chelsea at the end, which was lovely. But what did you make of the 90 minutes in totality in the second leg? Because we haven't discussed that.
I think, listen, I said this on my channel and I stand by it. It was an ugly win. And that's probably the nicest that I could say about it. You know, I think anybody getting up in their feelings about me not saying that we didn't, it wasn't our best. Like I think had Kai not scored and we had just went in with the 0-0, there'd be more questions because we really, and we didn't have to. You know, let me preface this by saying that it was up to Chelsea to come to us and do their thing.
Yeah, because
But on
if
the
a goal
day,
didn't go in, they're out.
yeah, but I would ask you guys that besides the result, would you love for Arsenal to continue to perform the way that we did in that game for the rest of the season?
It's kind
Not
of
the
how we've been
result,
playing, anyways.
but the performance. And if the answer is no, then there's nothing wrong with saying that we really weren't anywhere near our best. I think our midfield really struggled. And I
Mhm.
think Arteta may need to ditch the idea of playing that front line because I feel like every time we play it, it's a little frustrating. And it's not about the individual players not having quality or whatever. It's just sometimes you need the ball to stick. And I feel like those three are more like wanting to run into space, getting on the ends of things, or like Madueke wants to get it and like try to get past. And when he's not, he's losing the ball a lot. And it's just, you know, it's a little weird, you know. So no, if I had to say like, do I want us to perform like that against Sunderland? I would say no, because it wasn't anywhere near our best, but it was enough to get past Chelsea because they didn't do enough, and that's fine. You know, so yeah, I thought it was odd. I do think the Kai Havertz goal papers over the performance, but at the end of the day, that's what we needed on the day. And we did what we needed to do. So I can kind of look over it. You know, what did you think?
I'll make you bang on, Jess. I think in terms of the style of football and stuff, like we've definitely played better than that, and we've definitely played worse this season. But we're kind of accustomed to that, especially when you made the point of had it have ended 0-0. The one thing I'll say to the boys, obviously, it's not Kai icing on top of the cake. Shout out Declan Rice for assisting that. They both had Chelsea ties, so it was obviously nice for banter purposes, getting the goal. We've been on both sides. We've scored a late winner in a game in general, and we've conceded. So we know the feelings. It's always nice to do that. I'll give the boys credit, in my opinion, prior to the goal. Like, if I was impressed by anything, I'd say the last 10 minutes, because I did want to see us box cleverly. And I do think I saw my 11 go, you know what? Obviously, they can't predict the future, but it felt to me they went, you know what, we might not score, but you got to kill us if you want to score. We're going through to
They
the next
worked
round.
really hard in that game. Like, it
Exactly.
wasn't about like they put it all out there.
And
And
I can't.
so
That's the minimum requirement is maximum
yeah,
effort. So big them up for that.
yeah, but I think would you have preferred us to be able to, pass through their lines a little bit more, take better touches, create more? Yeah, you would have. Like, let's not lie and pretend
A
like
million percent,
that
Jess.
was
You're not
great.
lying.
But the performance in terms of like the heart and the desire and all that, that was all there.
Mm.
And that's a big part of why we went through, because we were blocking them and defending well and doing what we needed to do. So we were also really nasty in that game,
Which you need to
and
be in a cup game.
yeah, I think we were, a CUNT, a see you next Tuesday
That's what you
all
got to do.
throughout
Nice
that
guys
game.
don't win shit.
Yeah, and the amount of crying that the Chelsea fans were doing, I was like, that used to be us, that used to be us. Like when we
And we
go
should have
into a
had 2
game and
pens as
another
well.
team just kind of decided, nah, we're just gonna chuck you to the side, snatch you down, push you down. A big part of that was Timber and Hincapié. They were disgusting on the day,
And
and I
Captain
loved
big him up,
every
man of the
minute of
match,
it.
especially for winning the header in which led to the goal. And that's the thing,
Yeah,
Jess. It's like in isolation, like in terms of the style of play, all of that kind of jazz, breaking down mid and low blocks. I'm very critical about that. And I think
yeah,
that was, that obviously happened in the game. But then I kind of discount it because you are 90 minutes away from Wembley, 180 minutes from winning. The onus is not on us to go gun ho. And I actually think looking at it, it was a cagey chess match, a low-key affair. I do think like Liam Reznor, the onus is on Chelsea, but you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you go gunshot for gunshot with us, fans might like it, but we go and put 2 past you, is peak. I think they tried to, it's like a boxing match. They were trying to stay in it. They were trying to jab. They were trying to take it to the second half. Bring on your, I don't know why, but bring on your Garnachos, your Estalvios and Cole Palmer. And even with Cole Palmer, we was forcing him to get it back on the halfway line. So I give the boys kind of credit for that. I do think Kepa's obviously the goalie. I don't want to keep getting him, but when you've got Kepa in goal, your passing lanes, he's not David Raya in it. So your passing lanes are kind of cut up. I do think as much as I like the approach from a Chelsea perspective, it's kind of, I'm seeing the same things with Arteta in that they're kind of nullifying is not the right word, but they're cutting off the passing lanes. Like the one thing I'll say off topic is watching the game again, Rice had a better game than I gave him credit for, but they cut off our midfield. I can't really get at Eze, or even if Odegaard was out there, I can't really get at them for not really doing their thing. We kind of need to find ways against that. These are the kind of things that I think are on replay, but we did what we needed to do, and it's lovely to see Kai come off the bench, bag, kiss the badge and whatnot. We did our thing, man. Hincapié would have been my man of the match. Timber did all right, I feel, but he looked leggy. I think my
he's so
centre half was
tired.
decent.
Like,
They're
I'm not
playing
even
him, they
trying to
like
make
right wing,
excuses
bro.
for him, but it's so obvious. Like when whatever player that was for Leeds nutmegged him and he just pushed him down on the ground, I was like, he's done. Like he's over it. He did the same thing to Cucurella. And so he wasn't in training today.
We'll get onto
And
that.
he really needs to be rested. And I wonder if we'll see White come in against Sunderland. Because we need to protect Timber a little bit. He's looking a little like, I need to sit down.
Last 2 years, he's employee of the month, arguably. We've got him working overtime, man. Like he's working. But like we done our job. Like again, the onus was on Chelsea, and it's weird because obviously when it's 0-0, you've only got a goal lead. You're kind of braced for that thing, regardless of what football club you support or how confident you're at in that. You might concede. The game's kind of flipped on its head, and I don't want to exaggerate, but not that we've been in many, but genuinely for a semi-final with everything that's on the line, with the whole Arsenal London, with our record, with the fact that Chelsea fans gas up their team, play us and they get mad, that's probably been the most comfortable I felt in a knockout competition that we would go through in it. And I was never scared about like at a push. What chances did they have? Not that we had many. Enzo Fernandez is shooting from wherever. We probably should have closed him down, but there's nothing. The one thing I would say is, and to go back to what you said about the front three, I like Madueke, but decision making is not quite there. There's a number of long balls that are popped into Martinelli. We all know Martinelli. It's the good thing and the worst thing about Nelly is I don't think he knows what he's going to do in it. So apart from that, it was just job done o'clock. Like, how much do you, man, want to be at Wembley? How much do you lot want to see the job
think
done?
they showed they really wanted
it. Did.
Yeah,
they wanted it.
They showed it, and so to me, it's not really about anything other than they showed the heart and all that. And a lot of that is the cup competition. And I think the weird thing about Arsenal is that a lot of people have said over the last couple of seasons that we're probably a better cup team. And that's odd to say because we're not getting to finals. But I do kind of think that there's an element about Arsenal and the fact that Arteta is kind of willing to throw the rule book out of there just to win a game. Like, he's not too concerned about the style. He's more concerned about on the day, we just kind of need to win. So if we can get ahead of you in a two-legged tie, which again, we have to get ahead of you, we're really hard to beat. And we're kind of like not the best team that you want to play in a knockout because we don't give a shit about playing good football at times. We just want to kind of win
They
it.
played into our hands. They moved the ball slowly. You're allowing us to keep our shape. That's cash money to Arsenal and Mikel Arteta. And you won't catch me complaining, man.
Yeah. And the reason why, Liam Rosenior did what he did was because he didn't want what happened to Newcastle to happen to them.
You're damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah. Exactly. So, yes, like, it came off cowardly and all of that, but I've seen Arteta do similar things. And I think when you're in a position where you're playing against a better side and you're kind of at a deficit, you try to do the most to like soften the blow if it does come, especially because you're new in the job and you don't want to because he was trying to finesse it after the game. Like, it was a decent performance. We had what we needed to do.
Sounds like a loser. You never threw the kitchen sink at us. Allow it.
Yeah. And so I get it. That being said, we're just not a good team to play against when you're behind, because we're not easy to play against when we're behind. It's just not, it's not the best. I can see it because as soon as you open up, you're done, so you kind of have to keep it tight. So how do you have a go if you have to keep it tight? So
exactly. So you have to commit. And that's the one thing, if I was a Chelsea fan, I would be, I know, especially the Chelsea match going fans, even if they went out, but they were having a proper goal, that might have softened the blow. The approach up until 45 minutes, obviously they're still losing. It's not really good. It's just, they never really went for it, which I'm an Arsenal fan, as are you. Nobody doesn't care, innit? But they never really went for it. We was under no pressure. We did make rotations. That's their business. Jess, I want to ask you, I'm going to talk about midfield. The first thing is, am I wrong to be concerned about midfield? Because I do think against Kyrat, Gyökeres and Kai, I want to see that relationship in the same way at some point. I want to see what Odegaard and Eze can do together and many other relationships on the pitch, right? Yeah. But I think Odegaard did well off the bench against Leeds, and that was the right time to kind of bring him on when the game state's different. You saw his involvement, and obviously Havertz from the start. But it's prior to that, like, you're an Odegaard lover, I'm an Odegaard lover. I can't deny the obvious. He hasn't been at it. Not only has he not been at it, different dynamics. Eze hasn't been at it. Waneri's gone out on loan. Kai is back, granted. Marino, I know people don't hear it, but he has filled in that Odegaard role and he's now injured. Yeah. Am I wrong or right to be a bit concerned about what's going on there generally?
Here's my thing. I feel like I've been pretty consistent on this, that I feel like we get really wrapped up in like, if we just change this and change this, everything will be so much better.
How life works.
But the Leeds game and also the Chelsea game, I do think kind of exposed a little bit of like, they're just really nervous and everybody was off it. And I think their performances will get better collectively as we go on, but not much is really going to change because of the way that we play. I saw a lot of people saying like, yeah, but Zubimendi is the reason why Eze is not getting the ball against Chelsea. And I'm just like,
they see how Chelsea set up.
Yeah,
I'm like, in the front three and the midfield. You can't be surprised the midfield are not on the ball, and by default our attackers. People are not watching football, man.
Yeah, I'm just the reason why we look so much different in Champions League is not because different people are playing. It's because the game is more open. When we play against these teams, Premier League level teams, it's just hard. And then when you add the element of nervousness, which I think January really exposed Arsenal's like nervousness. I think everybody was like, oh, we were seeing things from the team that we don't really see. And no matter who played at the beginning of the Leeds game, it's not like Gyökeres and Havertz were really connecting. We still scored off of 2 set pieces,
It's a dog match, man. Leeds didn't want to play ball.
Yeah, I think ultimately, a lot of Arsenal fans have a problem with our style of play. And they feel like if you just switch the people out, the style will change. And they'll get more free-flowing, fluid footy. We're not. It'll be a little different, but it won't. I think the issue that you have with Eze at times, and this is not necessarily an Eze thing, it's more of just a system thing, is the way that we play, and we have to play up against so many deep blocks. If he doesn't come back to get the ball, he's not going to get it because they close off all those passing lanes. And our DMs are not really
as well.
Yeah, our DMs are not really like MLS. MLS is somebody that can get the ball and kind of gallop forward through the lines
and drive.
Yeah, they're not really gonna be doing that often. So it was tough for him and there was a disconnect. But if we had been playing against, let's say, a more open side, we probably would have ate them up because having Eze in those central positions and passing through the middle, he would have ate them up. But that space wasn't there. So to me, like, as much as, obviously, like, Eze was not great, I do think people have to accept a little bit that there's not a lot of space in midfield. When they flood the midfield, it's pretty much like they're giving us the wings.
It's a chess
And
match.
then
There's
when
something
you do the
Arteta's got to change.
5, when they did the 5-2, they had help on the wings too. So it's tough, So not too much on Eze. I do think at a certain stage, like, it's not an individual thing. I think everybody's performance is really dipped in January, and some of our better players, especially like Odegaard, it really stood out because you expect those players to be like the ones really leading, especially as the captain. But like, nobody was playing good in January. And I think collectively the performances will get better from here because they don't look as nervous. But, the midfield is what it is. I do think Rice and maybe Zubimendi, one of them, if not both of them, need a little rest. I think maybe we need to start seeing Norgard come in. I think Zubimendi's lack of progressive passes is not so much about him being ass. It's more about, I think he just needs maybe like a game out. And then he
I
can
don't
come
think he's
back.
being asked to do it as much, man. I do think Zubimendi.
Do you think Arteta's telling him not to pass like more risky? Because when he first got here, he was.
He's not in them areas. I think the same thing that happened. They're two different players, but I think the same thing that whatever Arteta did with Declan Rice, and obviously Declan Rice was a 6. We all know he can win the ball back. We all know his conventional strengths, and we all know what he's added into his game to be a complete midfielder for our club. I do think that's happening with Zubimendi. Zubimendi's playing a lot more further forward. He's making a lot more third man runs, and also going back and piggybacking off what Jess just said there. Yeah, if Zubimendi's got the ball and he's looking up, and whether it's the way teams are setting up, which is a byproduct because it's a compliment team. Why would you want to give Arsenal space? There's no options in it. And we're saying that about Zubi. We're saying that about Rice. Going back to what you said about January, the centre-halves have been dilly-dallying on the ball because there's no forward lanes. There's probably something that Arteta's got to tweak a bit at some point to get them out of it. I'm not going to lie, do you think the system, and I don't mean this in a disingenuous way because I love Odegaard, and when I say this, like Benjamin White's a good example, who was once a first name on the team sheet and now more of a rotationary piece. Do you think the system has evolved beyond Declan Rice, beyond Odegaard, in the same vein we've seen with a Tierney, a Ben White, etc.? I still think Odegaard would be a key player for me, and he will for Arteta. But I am starting to think that, man. I must admit, I am.
I mean, I would feel that way if there was anybody that was playing it better than him. But over the last couple of months,
concern thing earlier.
There hasn't been. I could see that more if, like, what happened with White. Timber came in and you could see the instant, like, oh, he's so much, not so much better, but you could see where the levels were getting. Unless we buy somebody that's like infinitely better than Odegaard, I don't really see it, because if we're being honest, it's like, so you're going to play Eze instead. He's even more, if you talk about somebody who's ghosting games, he's even more ghost-like than an Odegaard would be. So,
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know, man, because Odegaard has had more of an opportunity. That's why I mentioned it's a concern for me, because both of them, what's going on there? Marino's obviously got injured. Kai Havertz in midfield, therefore ain't prettier than them lot, but just in terms of trying something different and throwing a new kind of spanner in the works for the opposition. I love Odegaard. Like, you're always going to be utilized, but that
unless there's another option,
the Leeds game might be an opening. Your thing for now might be off the bench. Like what Odegaard does is a form of defending. He keeps it pretty, little given goals and just keeping the ball. And then obviously you can see what he does when he's involved. I just need more from Odegaard. And obviously I'm a hypocrite. 2 weeks from now, if he's obviously back and he's amazing, I'm not having this conversation.
Let's see what happens, because he's injured again. So
this is the annoying thing about him.
Like Eze didn't have 2 months where he had no competition for that position whatsoever. Odegaard was injured and Marino was playing up front. And by the time we got to around like the Aston Villa game, or especially after Chelsea, when we couldn't even beat 10-men Chelsea, people wanted him out of the team. So that was 2 months with no competition. It's not like he's never played. So he just hasn't really rose it. Like, in my opinion, if you're going to say that everybody needs to rise it, you can't just say that the system is working against Eze. Like, at some point he needs to, it kind of feels a little bit like Martinelli a couple seasons ago, where it was like, yeah, but it's the system, when it really, maybe he just needed to come off of the bench. So let's see, because he's going to probably get another opportunity against Sunderland. I don't think you can.
There's no
yeah. If you can't do anything like significant over multiple games, as soon as Odegaard gets fit, he's gonna come back into the team.
The gaffer's gonna play his favorite.
Yeah,
That's the thing for me with Odegaard. It's like, I understand the pressing, I understand, you know, the relationship on the right hand side. I understand why you drop deep. I understand that there's a bit of an attacking tax on everybody because of what Arteta wants to do, make us stronger defensively. There's a trade-off, and also the opposition. But for me, with Odegaard and what tipped the balance, I used to see you a lot more in games, even when you were struggling at the end of at the earlier part of the season. I'm not seeing that. You're not a goal threat. I've seen a Wash those who kind of do things as well. So for me, you lot are just, obviously the manager's going to play who he wants, but you lot are kind of disposable at this point, and that doesn't mean anything. I just think Odegaard, if you don't up it, you might go from being a first name on the team sheet to a rotationary piece, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But we back him, get back fit. We need everybody fit. As I said, for me, the bigger concern is a bit, both of their situations are different, because Eze has not had that much of an opportunity, nor does he know the system, but fundamentally not been cutting the mustard. Odegaard not been cutting the mustard. I myself, I'm saying Kai Havertz in midfield, which is mad. I'm missing Marino in midfield, which is mad. But we're saying all of this, and we're actually still in all comps. I did want to ask you, and I don't know if you've seen this, but it feels like we're getting into that period where we're going to get very familiar with Manchester City. If Arsenal and City are drawn on the same side of the Champions League knockouts, there is a chance they could face each other 3 times in 10 days in April, which would obviously be the 2 quarterfinal legs, match day 33. And obviously by then, regardless of what happens in that final, we would have played them. What do you make of that?
I mean, it is what it is. We're going to have to play them several times. I mean, I feel like it's always going to happen. Like, we're going to have to play them because they're one of the best teams. You know, in years gone past, when we've been good, we had to play against Man United a shit ton of times. We had to play against Chelsea a shit ton of times. So it just kind of is what it is. Like, we have to get a little bit more comfy with having to play City a lot.
If you want to win stuff.
Yeah, I'm kind of just at the stage where it's like, let's go. Let's see what it is. Let's see what we do. Let's see how we perform. I think our earlier performance against them early on in the season was not good enough. You know, I just think we gave them way too much respect. And I think there's a way to play in a way that's not disrespectful, but also not respect them at the same time. And I'm waiting for that.
The blueprint.
Yeah, I did not like that. It felt like we were playing the badge instead of the team. And I said this on my channel the other day. I feel like the trauma that I have about City is more about us playing the treble winning side. This side to me is more like the team that finished 3rd last season.
And the most beatable City side I've seen in my in my life's an exaggeration, but in Pep Guardiola's lifespan, that City.
Yeah, they're good, but this is not the treble winning side. So we should feel like we're playing against a team that does not, they don't have some of the play, they don't have Gundogan and KDB and these guys, you know, so just play them. Don't
and they're
play
good defensively.
Yeah, Newcastle, shit. They should have scored at least 2 or 3 goals yesterday.
Willock, Gordon, Alanga should have had 2.
And please don't bring Gordon to the carpet. He is so, I don't know what people see in him. He is horrendous.
Nah, he's a baller, man. He's better than what we got on the left-hand side.
Well, your standards for left wingers we've seen. So,
what do you mean we've seen it? What does that mean? What does that mean?
Because you love Martinelli, and I've been telling you.
Look what Martinelli's been doing. One of our top goal scorers, scored in all these big games. And I did want a left winger.
We need a left winger.
Martinelli's done more than your guy Odegaard. What are we doing here?
I mean, that's fine. That's not the standard, though, is it? You guys are talking about
the standard. At least Martinelli knows what it fucking means to play for this club. I'll tell you that much.
Well, Odegaard has more more GA than I feel like almost every other attacker except for Gyökeres in the last 5-6 games. Yeah. I mean, he got an assist the other day.
Did he bag against City or Bayern? Did he smash and grab against Bilbao in the
How did
champs?
he didn't play against them. He
Did he
wasn't
do anything
fit.
at Club Brugge?
If you
I know
think
what Martinelli's on when the lights are bright.
If you think Martinelli is the answer, that's fine.
I didn't say it's the answer. I said I wanted a left winger. Don't think I didn't see your tweets about my other guy, you know.
In that position is weird.
Don't think I didn't see your tweets about my other guy, you know.
About who?
Come on, Jess. My other guy.
Jesus?
Since you mentioned Gabriel Jesus, what are we saying about him?
Nothing. He's still gonna go in the summer.
He needs to, man. No, I'm not gonna lie, yeah. And I had to apologize to Gabriel.
Nothing has changed.
No, you're right. I had to apologize to Gabriel Jesus against Leeds because honestly, I think he's been shit since he's come back from injury. Yeah, all the discounts, all those things. Inter Milan, spot on, amazing. Against Leeds, I love the finish, but I only have to apologize to him because I was doing that thing fans do on my watch along. Oh, Gaffer, why are you bringing him on? And he shut me up. But at this point, and do you know what, Jess? One thing we have agreed on, because we said this months ago, like whether it's Martinelli, whether it's Odegaard, whether it's this one or that one, these are the players that are part of the toolbox. Just get over the line. If this one is flavor of the month, 3-4 games they've been playing out their skin, run that. The other and then drop the other one. Next season, left winger is needed. All them other guys. Oh, yeah, that's another thing. On the topic of left wing, where do you stand on Trossard? Because it'd be fair to say, yeah, all Arsenal fans, we'd play Nelly last season. When he annoys us, Trossard. When Trossard annoys us, another thing, yeah. But Trossard's been the only surprise in attacking that he's formed from August to give or take around now. It's been all right. Now, some fans, I think, are doing the whole, he's been rubbish type of thing, drop him. I disagree with that, if I'm honest. I'm not saying he's been amazing. He's definitely dropped off a bit. But where are you at with that? Because surely that's Eze's entry then. Well, obviously, he's probably going to play in the 10 because there's injuries. But where are you at with that?
I don't know, man.
And I was joking about Gordon, chat, for what it's worth. I'm just got to entertain you. I don't want Gordon.
I don't know, you know. There's just we have to see. I think with the left wing and Trossard and stuff like that, I just think Trossard, you know, he had his purple patch and now the purple patch is kind of gone, right? And
he's getting angry again, man.
He needs to maybe get angry again, but maybe somebody else needs to like step up. You know, I think Trossard was meant to be like the third option and he ended up being the starter again. You know, this is not the first season that's happened. So, you know, I was saying that if, you know, Eze will probably be playing in midfield, but I don't think Odegaard will be out long. Can Eze not go back out to left wing? Yeah. Can he not go back to left wing? Like,
because I want to see that relationship, man, because I do think Odegaard and Eze find each other a lot. Like, even in the Carabao game, yeah, Eze, it's a bit weird because you'd think on paper Odegaard be the one to do it, but Eze kind of drops deep and plays them defense splitting passes, so Odegaard can be slightly closer to goal and find Saka and all of those things. Let's be honest, like the opportunity for Eze, at least for this season, is going to come off that left-hand side. He's got to be able to lock it down in some sort of way. Now, as Jess just said, because of this Odegaard thing, it's looking like Eze in midfield. Probably would have been Marino. You can't rule out Kai. Marino's not an option. So we're going to have to see.
If I'm honest, that's what I would do. If I had to choose just solely based on performances, I would play Kai there instead of Eze.
That's what I'm on right now.
Yeah, I think when we talk about people needing to earn their position, you have to stay consistent. It can't just be one player because you don't like them needs to earn their spot. But then Eze should just get more minutes when he's not really doing anything with it. But then other players that play there do more with it. Kai, he looks fresh. He looks ready to go. And he might be the better option and just stick Eze, like you said, on the wing and try it, because right now I just feel like there's something is not right with Eze. And it's like, yes, they're not getting in the ball, but why can everybody else get the ball but you when you're in that position? Because it's not like Odegaard doesn't get the ball. It's not like Marino doesn't touch the ball. It's not like Kai wasn't touching the ball. Like, there's something you're not doing and there's spaces you're not popping up in. So maybe just drop Havertz in there.
Exactly. You know? But you know what?
And you guys know what it would take for me to say that, because I do not like, you know, I'm not really a big two striker up top. Go do it. Play off of each other. But right now, that's probably better.
Out there. I don't want two strikers out there because the midfield is vacant. But like, it's a weird one because I think, obviously, as we can all see, Eze's situation, Odegaard's situation, they're very different. But both players, I don't want to keep saying lacking confidence. You're overthinking it. Like, and I can, it's easy for me to say I've never been in your shoes, but I know what Odegaard looks like when he's not thinking. It's a sixth sense type of thing. I know that with Eze, they both look like they're overthinking. And I all know of maybe more so for Eze. I know you got to adapt. I know you got to do any of this stuff, but at some point, these players are like they're risky in it. Like that, they might lose the ball when the team goes down the other end and scores, but there's
Yeah.
risk. It's almost like you've cut his wings. So for Arteta, Eze needs to meet you halfway, and you need to set up a situation where he can take risks in certain areas. And the same with Odegaard. And but I liked Odegaard's performance against Leeds. I actually think people are being quite disingenuous against Kyrat, like this whole he came on and we're doing all of this kind of stuff. What if Arteta demand the same thing I think he demanded of him of Leeds? What if that happened against Kyrat? But I don't want to keep making this an Eze Odegaard thing because you get people in their feelings that Team Odegaard want to get onto Eze, Team Eze think Odegaard shit. They're all part of Arsenal Football Club. Get us over the line and we all celebrate stuff, people.
Yeah. There'll be games that are better for each player. And to be honest,
Exactly.
like
Remember Newcastle, how good Eze was and Odegaard coming off the bench and doing his thing. That you could flip it on another head on another day.
yeah, so we just need to use everybody. And I do think that like as a fan base, we could just cool down the player FC thing, like
We asking
because
too
we're
much.
about to potentially win the first Premier League that we ever won in 21 years.
14
We
games,
don't
just
really
stay
need to be
calm, stay
worried
humble.
about like that. Everybody's gonna have a big moment. Like Jokeris is gonna score a big goal down the line for us. That's gonna be like, oh my gosh, and it's gonna make it all worth
What
it.
do you
So
make of
like,
him as well? Because what, 68 and 6, more than Haaland this year.
it's weird.
Gyökeres
He's
found his
scoring
feet.
goals, but I'm not sure that I think he's playing well. But it just is what it is. Like, as long as he's scoring, it's kind of fair game.
I couldn't
It
believe
is
him
what
far
it is.
post against Leeds. All that Martinelli cross, I don't know, man, but big them up. Big them up for that.
Yeah, that was really good.
And Noni
That was
got
your
credited
ball.
with that corner goal as well, which fair play to Noni. I mean, at the end of the day, as Jess keeps saying, bro, just get over the line. Just get any of these
Yeah,
things over the line.
because
That's
Eze
all
is
we
going
care
to
about.
play a big role at some stage too. Everyone is going to. Norgard's going to play a big role at some stage. If this season hasn't taught you that yet, I don't know, because the team that we were playing at the beginning of the season is completely different than the team that we've been seeing in January. Like it's just all different.
And
Like
it's gonna change again because like people obviously were happy to be in a final, but it's happened now. We deal with that in March. We'll get onto it, people, but we've got to beat Sunderland. Brentford are like 7th. We've got them on Thursday. The game against Wolves, granted, it's Wolves, they're 20th, but remember the game at the Emirates, that's been brought forward. The games are coming thick and fast. Before we know it, we're watching Champions League draws and things of that ilk. You said it in passing comment, Jess, yeah. Norgard. Now, I remember sitting here with you in the summer. We said, you know what, Norgard will probably be like, not, we said it weren't a Jorginho thing, but we probably thought he would play a lot more in some capacity than now. Are
yeah,
you shocked that he's played? We thought he'd have a bit part role, but it's like a bit part role. Are you shocked? Like, where you at with Norgard?
a little bit. Just because I get that Zuby and Rice are like his thing. Like he's like, I cannot
Yeah,
without.
they're playing the
But
bear, man.
there just has to be a game that you'll trust a experienced Premier League standard captain to play for one of them. There just has to be, you must at some stage. And Norgard, to me, is more than good enough to come in a Premier League game for one of them. And I think at
Especially
a
sub
certain stage,
appearances, man.
yeah, and you have to also like, I'm not trying to doom us, but I'm just saying like, if something were to happen to one of them,
God
I'd
forbid.
want Norgard to feel confident to do it, to come in, but also know how to play with one of them. And I feel like you got to get some of these players that aren't playing in the groove and that's why I feel like there needs to be almost like pushing Eze into the team. Now he's going to get that opportunity. But if Odegaard had not been injured, I did think that he should come in on the wing because they need to be ready just in
Can't
case.
leave them out on the cold.
Yeah, 100%. So, yeah, I'm surprised about Norgard, but at the same time, like Arteta is wedded to the Rice and Zuby of it all. But if we end up having to play a certain amount of time without one of them, you'd love for Norgard to be ready for that. So, but we're under pressure. I get it. So, it's
Unpopular opinion. I don't think if I was Mikel Arteta and God forbid something happened to Rice or Zubamendi, I would normally go for the Norgard thing and there'd be capacity for that. I don't think you lot would want to see my midfield because like take your pick. If Zubi or Rice, whichever one's injured, one of you lot in the six. If Odegaard and Eze are there, I'm going with you lot. Kai Havertz and Eze or Odegaard, I'm going with that. I don't think people would want to see. I think the dynamics have to change. But just that's why I said sub appearances, because it's one thing starting, as you said, it's Zubi, it's Rice. I do think people cry for rotation, but then want the consistency of results that playing the same players bring. But that's why I said sub appearances, because I'm surprised like he's not got a 20 minutes here to see out the game, a 10 minutes here, an occasional start. I'm not starting him against Sunderland, but we'll get on to that. What I did want to ask you, though, Jess, as well, like, obviously, Mikel Arteta's record, unfortunately, in two-legged semi-finals has been shoddy. I don't want to remind anyone about Villarreal, Smith Rowe playing as a false nine, but there was that. We obviously lost to Liverpool. Last season, we all remember how it felt against Newcastle. Unfortunately, we didn't get over the line against PSG, but we have against Chelsea. Do you think like this is a new Arteta? Do you think he's got that monkey off his back? Do you think like we're stepping into that kind of realm now?
Yeah, it's weird because even though we haven't won anything, we have made gains every season and improved in some way, whether that's from a points perspective, goals perspective, getting further in competitions. Like last season, we went to the semifinal in the Champions League versus the season prior where we got to the quarterfinals. So it may not feel like it because there's been so much disappointment about not winning the Premier League or anything at all. But we have gotten better every season in some way. And I think Arteta getting over this semifinal hullabaloo, not getting to a final, is one of those. Because we had to play against good competition as well. It's not like we got lucky, and got to play against lower levels. So yeah, I do think we're improving. I think we're better this year in the Champions League than we were last season. We were really good then. Much better in domestic cups this season. My goodness, much better in domestic cups. And in comparison to last season, we're much better in the league. So of course, it just needs to be underpinned by trophies. That's it.
Yeah, it just needs to, just history now. Like we need to just write history. We need to go from being a good team to a great team. A great Arsenal team, in my image, from what I've seen with these lot, is you've won something now. Because I'm being very disingenuous and quite silly. But if I say Rob Holding, of course, a lot of you are going to remember the calamitous mistakes. A lot of you also going to remember him standing up tall at Wembley. On paper, you're not in higher folklore than a Gabriel or a Saliba or a Timber or insert player here. And I think that's an effing shame. During the Emirates era, we've had the best squad, that we've had some of the best individuals, some of the best quote unquote times, like winning the big games at the Emirates. And I don't want to say it counts for nothing because everything's a learning curve. The pain of yesterday could be the strength of tomorrow. But it's now about summing that up and silverware and things that are going to be there and whetting the appetite. I did want to ask you, Jess, obviously I ain't got the table from when we lost to Man United, but there was a big song and dance about things. At the end of the day, we're still top. Bit of a double-edged question with 14 games left or something like that. How confident are you we get the job done? And excluding Arsenal and City, who you got down for top four? I'm purposely airing fifth because fifth we don't know about it really.
I mean, I'm pretty confident, but I'm still a little cautious because I still feel like there's a lot of time left. My thing was always if we get to the game against City at the Etihad and it doesn't mean much, then we're in a good place. I still feel like there's still an element of they still need to come to the Etihad. And yes, we're 6 points ahead now rather than the 4 from before, but all it takes is one little slip. Like we really need to I think we just need to keep our heads down. Nothing is done yet. We're in a good position. Yeah, but of course, I still think this is our best possible chance of winning. I still think we have everything possible to do it. And I'm really proud of them for getting to this point. And I'm in the same position now. And who's going to be in that top 4?
Obviously, Arsenal, City, and then third and fourth. Take it away, man.
It's so funny. It's so funny. One of you guys are missing out.
Because Villa's not effing going anywhere.
I don't think Villa, here's the thing about Villa is let's see how Unai Emery deals with his squad going into Europa League. Because we know he's going to prioritize the Europa League. So there could be a slip and slide for them at that stage. And maybe they start slipping because they've been dropping quite a few points recently. So you could see their form right there.
Well. It went under the radar.
Yeah. Now, I think Man United are going to make it. Purely.
I said the same thing.
Yeah. Once they get going, the confidence is there.
One game a week.
Yeah, they'll make it. Now, one of Chelsea or Liverpool is not going to make this top 4.
This is what I'm saying. So who do you bet on? Because that's why I asked you. Because on one hand, I think Chelsea are a shoo-in, and we got to remember they weren't like Aston Villa. Aston Villa fans, respectfully to them, they had a crap start to the season. Their form put them in a title race, and it was the footballing world saying they're in a title race.
Yeah.
Chelsea, for no reason, when they drew against us, we're in the title race. Arsenal are so crap, couldn't beat us with 10 men. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Chelsea must. So it's like Chelsea or Liverpool.
They have to hope that Villa collapses to give them an easier shot at getting into that 5th spot that probably will end up being a Champions League spot as well. But somebody could potentially miss out. If it was up to me, Villa, stay strong, just stay up in the top 4. I want one of them to miss it badly because they've both been their fan bases have been so weird.
Unbearable on social media, man.
You guys have stuff to do, don't you? The one thing that I always give Man United fans respect for is that they always are the main character of their own story. It's always about them. It's what they could do. They'll hate on us a little bit, but they're very self-centered. Chelsea and Liverpool fans have been focusing a lot on us when I'm like, you guys are not secure. Liverpool fans saying, but should we beat Man City? Yeah, you should, because
you lot are the reigning holders of the Premier League.
Yeah,
we're the bridesmaids, not the groom. We're the bottlers. So what kind of bottling is this? Not to mention Chelsea. The game's the game.
Yeah, so I think out of the two, there's so much. I mean, Chelsea, if they don't make it, that's hilarious. I mean, world champions, we have to get them for that.
No,
but
we have to, and because they said they're in a title race. They said it. And
they said it.
Boom.
Yeah, but Liverpool ending up being one of the worst defenders of a Premier League title is also incredibly hilarious as well. Also considering that their bald-ass manager sat up there talking about it's better to play good football than to win trophies. Yeah. Let's see how your fan base feels when they're kicking your ass out of the door and calling up Xabi Alonso, because you'll be out of a job so freaking quickly.
He's had enough.
Yeah. I'm like, so I think for the banter, Chelsea would be a little bit better, but I'll take Liverpool all day long. Aston Villa, stay strong. Stay strong.
And I have to ask you, because obviously we've been focused on the top 4/5 positions, and indirectly Liverpool are 6th for the moment. So you could say 6. We've got Brentford next week. We've got Sunderland this week. That's 2 massive games. So one, how important is the Sunderland game? How important is it to go on a run? And what will be your 11 for Sunderland? Because I see some people saying I'd start Norgard, I'd drop Rice in the chat, etc.
Every game is important. Every game is do or die. So we don't have to make any one more important than the other. We have to win every game, essentially. But the Sunderland is one of our last opportunities for a while to play before City. And I don't like the way Arsenal look when we play after City. I think we look better when we play before them. We have the opportunity to let them see 9-point gap before they have to go to Anfield. So psychologically, that's massive. I know that Liverpool are not in the best form, but this is probably one of the last places you'd want to have to go if you really need some points, right? So Sunderland is massive for a psychological boost. You really don't want to drop points against Sunderland and then somehow things go awry at Anfield and then we're like, damn. Or Man City do end up losing and we're like, that was the chance again to get to the 9,
Just handle your business, boys, man.
Yeah, it is absolutely massive that we win this game, but there's no game that's really more important than others. This is just a psychological one for me. Now, in terms of how we're going to set up against Sunderland, I just think, I think we need to look at our fullbacks and not run them into the ground. I actually think Arteta needs to do a little bit of if you want to have the balance, play White to give Timber a little rest and play Hincapié on the other side and do vice versa. I don't think we're at our best where it's like Hincapié and Timber or White and Calafiori. I think the balance is one of each, one more attacking, one more defensive. Invert.
So I assume you got Raya in goal, Saliba, Gabriel, White right back.
White right back, Hincapié left back.
The two in midfield in Rice and Zubi, or are you going with Norgard?
I am probably going to rest one of Zubi or Rice. More likely Zubi. It wouldn't be the prettiest, but I feel like he looks the most needing of to sit. And I think with Sunderland, because they're quite physical, we kind of talked about how when the game is more physical, maybe he's a little, I think he got ragdolled away from home against Sunderland. Maybe
The
this is a
typical
bit
British
too
games,
hard.
Zubi struggled in. The only one he's
Yeah,
not kind of comfy with City, which is more of a chess match. This is why I thought we needed 2 centre mids in the summer. I know we
yeah,
technically got that, but yeah.
yeah. I think go with Norgard and Rice and Eze. Like double pivot and a 10, call it a day. And then go with actually no, sorry, go with Havertz in the 10, and then go with Eze on the left, Gyökeres up front,
You're gonna
and
hate me.
Madueke.
You're gonna hate me. But if there's a chance, if Zubi and Rice are fit, I'm going with them and one of
That's fair.
Havertz or Eze. But if we're entertaining this whole like the rest stuff and considering the Chelsea thing, you're gonna hate
That's
me.
fair.
And I hate myself, but I don't want to lie to you lot. My 11 so far, because we did get to midfield. Raya in goal, Saliba, Gabriel. Obviously, I do share the Timber thoughts. Part of me wants to play Timber, but you know what? White go out there,
Timber
Hincapié
needs
go
to
out there,
sit his
Timber
ass
and
down.
Calafury stay warm. I can't drop Rice. I can't drop Rice. So Rice is going out there. Rice, Havertz in that left 8. I know. Eze, you're going in that 10 for me. I know. But you mentioned physicality and all of that kind of stuff. Kai can give me all of that. Kai is definitely not pretty in midfield. He's definitely not pretty on the ball. But I'd be lying if I didn't feel like that. I get the Norgard thing, though. I wouldn't be against Norgard if I'm
That's fair.
completely honest. So
Yeah.
then, talk to me about the wingers. If Saka's not there, because there's question marks over Marino, Timber, Saka, and Odegaard. So who's going out wide?
Oh, I would like I said, I'm putting Eze and Madueke on the wings. That's what I would do.
Fair. So that
And
would
then I
be
play Gyökeres up front.
And I mean, because I went with Havertz in the 10, well, not in the 10 in midfield. So I'd have Rice, Havertz, and Eze. That means my wing spots. If Saka's not there, Noni do me a job.
You could play Martinelli. Would you
I'm
prefer
gonna go with
Martinelli?
you could, but it sounds dumb because Madueke, I like the way you play, but you also frustrate me. But
Yeah.
I just think there's a lot more comments. You and Martinelli are like different players, but the same players. I just think
Yeah.
there's a bit more thinking with what Madueke is doing in it, if I'm honest with you. But if it is going to be a physical game, you do have Nelly going backwards. But for me, I'm going to go Noni. I'm going to go Gyökeres. I don't feel it's mad, but I just don't feel comfortable dropping Trossard. So I'm going to go Trossard left wing.
I kind of do. And the reason why I say that is because I think he needs to be charged up again. I think he needs to
Yeah,
get
we do
mad
need to make him
again.
angry.
So it's a two, you give Eze another opportunity, but in a position where he's most likely going to get the ball because the wingers always get the ball. They never don't get the ball, right? And then he also will have Hincapié behind him. So we'll have a sturdy defender where we won't feel like Eze needs to like struggle to get back. If it's him and Calafiori, you're going to need somebody to help him.
They got
Not
that
as much
attacking
with
fullback as
Hincapié.
well. You know what? Nelly for Trossard. They got that guy, man, that black guy. They're right back.
And
Yeah,
I
Nelly
think
for
Trossard needs
Trossard.
to get activated again.
Get him
But then
angry. He's
at the
sleeping too much.
huh?
He's sleeping too much. I don't see the black bags under his eyes. He's too happy when he's celebrating. We need to get him angry again, man. We need to lock him
Yeah.
up again. Caged
But I
animal
mean,
sense.
you could start Martinelli. I see people wanting Martinelli. That's fine. I would not start Trossard. I do think in
Yeah,
general
you
he needs
converted
to
me
get
with that one.
activated again. So either Eze or Martinelli. I'm leaning more towards Eze to give him a chance. If he doesn't, yank him, put Martinelli in, call it a day.
And to answer this, I'm all for Mascara at right back, not for Sunderland, but I've been pushing this agenda. There will be an opportunity, and I do wonder how much Mascara's versatility will play on, potentially keeping or not keeping Benjamin White. I don't know. I do want to ask you, how vital is it to go on a run? Like, obviously, let's disregard the cup competitions. We don't know we're playing in the champs. We know we got the final parked off. Big up Wigan. We're definitely not looking down at Wigan. We want to win, but I just want to focus on the Prem. Informed Sunderland. Informed Brentford, who have lost Norgard, their captain, their star man in Buemo, and obviously Thomas
They're
Frank.
looking good though. Brentford
They've
look
got
good.
better. Pardon me?
Yeah, Brentford look good.
They look good. So I'll be real, Jess. These two games scare me. They do scare me.
They
do scare me.
do, but they're the kind of games that, in like 23, 24, we were coming up against and we were winning because we were professional. Like the Leeds game before, like that looked more
That could have
scary
got
than it
dark.
actually ended up being, because we were actually serious on the day. That was the first game in a long time that we were just serious. You know, we came up against a team away from home, one of those grounds that's real close in a small field and all that kind of stuff.
They live and breathe
And
every kick and that.
yeah, and if we had played that a couple of weeks, we would have effed it. But they looked so much more confident. So I think I back us against anybody if we're professional. And we can have professional wins against Sunderland at home. We can have professional wins against Brentford. We just need to be serious. So ultimately, I hope that we are calm after that Chelsea game and we can just lock in again. But I've seen this team go and do a really good run. They just need to lock in, you know, because you have to. But
Are
these
you
are
concerned?
scary games. They're not gonna be easy, you know?
Are you concerned? Because obviously, like, the games are coming thick and fast. There's injuries. There's been a lot of fatigue. You know, we've spoken about Sunderland and Brentford. You know, not to talk about the Wigan game, but it's coming thick and fast. Obviously, the Wolves game has been brought forward. We do have to travel. Yes, Wolves are 20th, but we just need to go and look at the home game and say that was probably one of our hardest kind of games for whatever reason. I can't remember, so don't quote me, but there is a significant amount of rest that's going to be afforded to Spurs versus us for this North London derby. And I don't need to tell you about Chelsea at home and Brighton. So it's
Yeah,
almost like you look at the 1, 2, 3,
yeah,
4,
one game
5,
at
6,
a
7, the last
time,
7
though.
games.
I think ultimately, like, everything can change in, like, 3 games or so, even 1 game. So I think, obviously, we're looking towards those Tottenhams and the Chelsea games, but like you said, this Sunderland and Brentford are just as important. So 1 game at a time. The one thing I will say is that I think in order for us to be at our best selves in those, like, next 6 or 7 games, is I think Kai has to be involved in some way. I think we just playing better without him. I think getting him involved, we'll score more goals, we'll look more fluid. You know, we need another option up there. So
And there's games for Kai up front as well. Big up your
yeah,
Chris doing his thing, but like we
yeah,
focused
get
on
him
seeing with him
involved.
playing in midfield. But yeah,
100%. Yeah. So we just have to take it 1 game at a time. Beat Sunderland and then look at Brentford after that. We should be beating Brentford. It's all about 1 game at a time and mentality. And
get the job done, man.
yeah, that's really all it's about. Wolves away can be a hard game if you're not locked in, but it could
Quick
be like
turnaround as well.
Leeds.
3
Yeah, it
days,
could be like Leeds if you're
3, 4.
serious, you know? So with Arsenal, it's always about mentality.
I think we're battering Spurs, but it's like it's just a lot of games coming thick and fast.
I'm
And
more
obviously,
worried about the Sunderland, Brentford games than the Tottenham and Chelsea games because we're usually activated for those. We're usually up for it. It's those types of games where we're just not our usual selves. Sunderland was so weird. It was the first time that I seen us do things that I was like, this is just not us at
and don't
all.
forget the Champions League by around this period or like this period, the Champions League starts coming into it. There is going to be a time for Mikel Arteta maybe to say, you know what, I know we need to win the Everton game, but I might need to be a bit cute and clever with the side going into the game at the
Mhm.
EFL. This is what success looks like. These are
For
what me
sure.
and you are talking about. This is now the realm we're in. Like, you got every game's a must win, whether you're in the League Cup, the FA Cup, so on and so forth. We need to go on a run, man. We need to go on a run because I do
I
think
think
we're going to
so.
drop more points, but I think City are as well. But I share what you said in passing comment that a part of me feels, you get something against Sunderland and Brentford. City might fuck up this week. I
Yeah,
think they're going to beat Liverpool for what it's worth. I'm trying to put the opposite into the air, but these 2 games are the ones I'm looking at. You lot can get a bit of a breather against Wigan of sorts, respectfully to them.
yeah, and
It's
then
a
you go
it's
again.
tough. Yeah,
Then you go
exactly.
again. We're definitely not to be like, I'm not trying to be negative, but like you said, we'll drop more points, but it's just a matter of when you drop those points and can you get the psychological edge of 9 points? Like,
Exactly.
get that psychological edge. Next time they drop points, make sure that you capitalize on it and get that lead, you know, just try to do that. But Sunderland is massive. I think you win that, you beat Brentford, and then, like you said, a breather against Wigan, and then we go again.
And then I think there'll be ever so slight rotation against Wolves away, maybe 1 or 2
Yeah,
changes. But
yeah,
again,
and
we're
maybe Saka
predicting
will be
stuff.
back too. Like, Saka
Exactly.
coming back is gonna be so important for us. I know he hasn't had, like, the brightest of seasons, but
Hmm.
he'll be chomping at the bit to be involved in everything. So, every 1 game at a time, guys. 1 game.
And even this, I don't want to pull it into the universe, but we've been dealing with injuries since August. So I don't know what the dynamics are going to look like because, Saka might come back. this one might get injured. As we said earlier, you know, the Timbers, the Marinos, the Odegaards, the Sakas, whether they're genuinely out or Arteta's playing a bit of mind games, I don't know, man. But this is what we wanted, man. So yeah, we've gone over Sunderland, we've gone over Odegaard and Saka and Timber and all of these kind of things. I needed to ask you now, you're not an idiot, Jess. Without even speaking to you about this until now, I know you didn't believe too much in them Tonali rumors in January, or didn't believe in it at all happening in January. Do you think that's something for the summer? Would you have him? Chat to me about him, man.
It's weird because I do feel like there's something in it. I do think this feels like a type of player that we won't make sense of, but I can see Arteta liking a player like this.
I want to.
Guys, Arteta likes a hard-working midfield full of like 2 8s and a 6, or an 8 and a 6, 2 6s.
Him, Zubi, Rice, and maybe MLS moving in there. I'm cool with
It's
that.
not gonna change. Like, as long as Arteta's manager, you're not gonna see a free-flowing 10 thing, you know? So I can kinda see this because Arteta's like,
Takes
it's
a
so
mean
funny
set piece as
because
well.
I was in my group chat, and after like Ekitike scored those 2 goals against Newcastle, they were like, "Oh, he was perfect for us." Da da da.
He was.
Arteta done thrown the recipes that were used by Baba Wenger are gone. He threw those away. He's making his own recipes.
Yeah, it's fast food now, man.
Hardworking midfield, no number 10, you know, false 9, wingers that defend. That's just, you know, 4 center backs at the back. That shit ain't changing, you know? So I'm not surprised by this type of player coming up. I think people would be more disappointed because it's not what they would want, but I was not thinking he would come in January. I think that makes sense that he wouldn't, but I would not be surprised if we looked at something like this in the summer.
Would you have him?
I'm not like gassed. Out of the midfielders that they got, you know which one I would prefer.
I would as well. I would.
You know,
if anyone don't know, Bruno Gomares.
Yeah, and I'm like, that's the
He
guy.
works for City too much, so I don't know if I want him anymore, man.
He's more of a goal threat, you know, so if we needed that, you know, whatever. This guy is just more, but I can see why he wants out. Why wouldn't you? You know, so I could see us going back, Italian, you know.
Would you take Onana as well at Aston Villa? Would you have him?
Hell nah.
Raw, really?
You know how I feel about Onana.
He's converted me, you know, low key, he's converted me. That's why I asked you. He changed my mind on him. I think there's something there, man. I do think there's something there. Do you know what? It's mainly the engine.
Okay, that's cool. Like, I can see he's like a good weapon to utilize in certain games.
It's what you said, mainly because of Zubamendi, which I agree with in that right now Zubi's good. Mainly his best performance probably been in Europe, but when it's them crazy English games, I kind of want to take my guy Zubi out. Someone like Onana or a Tonali, them guys are my kind of guys. I don't know why he's changed my mind on him, Jess, but you've lost the soldier,
you know what
man.
it is about him? It's, you know, he could have done real damage to us in the game that we played at home, but his decision-making is shit. You know, he got up there and he got a nosebleed. And so we have enough players that don't know what to do when they get into the final third. So you can be defensively solid and be a good tool in the toolbox, but ultimately our decision-making in the final third needs to get better across the whole team. I don't want another player coming into the squad that sucks in the final third, you know? So good player. I think he's at his level. I'll be honest, you know.
True. And these are big money purchases. Like, again, we didn't know 8 players would come in. We don't know how much Berta's working with or what Arsenal's working with or what sales could do for us and whatnot. But if you do bring in for argument's sake, you know, Nana or Tonali, you're looking at as cheap as 50, 60, you're getting to 70, 80. Now, granted, if they spend that, Arteta knows what he wants to do. We're probably going to buy another defender. I wouldn't rule out bringing in another striker that's an upgrade on Gyökeres, big him up. And I think if there's a big money addition that everybody wants, we might not agree on the profile, but everybody wants that left wing sorted. So it all depends how the money stretches and what we're doing in it. But if we do win that league, we do need to be more aggressive, because it's one thing winning it, it's another thing retaining it, something we haven't done. I wouldn't be doing my job, Jess, if I didn't ask you some quick other ones. Yeah, Julian Alvarez talked to me.
Now, this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, go on with Julian Alvarez. Go on.
Well, you want me to talk about this first?
No, go on. To talk about Julian Alvarez, I actually want your in-depth thoughts on Kai. With Kai. So let's start with
so
Mr. Julian Alvarez.
This is where I'm dropping all my P's. Like, all of the cash is going towards this signing. I need us to get the striker signing right. I think we still need this player. No offense to Gyökeres, love you,
He can
but
be a squad
no.
player.
And I think, with Julian Alvarez, he just has, we know he's not too old, but he has enough experience. He's won things before. He could play in this league. He's a goal threat on set pieces and in open play. He can create. He can play in a 2-striker system. We still need that player. If we win the league without a true goal scorer,
Great
and
achievement.
with
We'll
the
go and win
attack
one
that we
next year.
have, Arteta might be one of the best coaches that's ever coached in this league, because Arsene could have Arsene had Henri. He had Kanu and Wiltorn on the bench. Arteta's doing a lot with, I wouldn't say a little, but we don't have the best attack. So I
That's
still
his
feel
fault
like
if
we
we ain't,
need
because
that.
you got peace.
Yeah, like I'm not saying that he's just had it laid out in front of him and like he's just, but still, like he's like the little saying of like, I asked my landlord to increase my rent so that I could, it's giving that,
So harder
so
and that, yeah.
but I would love for him to make his life a little bit easier. And I really like the player. I really like South American strikers. I think South American strikers just have the thing. I don't think we're gonna go for a Thierry Henry regen type of thing. I don't think that's Arteta's thing. And this is the best thing on the market potentially. If he comes on the market and ends up at the Premier League, he needs to end up at Arsenal.
But are we gassing him then? Because he's only got 11 goals this season. Like, it's not too dissimilar from what we got already. 7 in the league in 22. Are we gassing it?
I don't think so. I feel like, Atletico
Let me get
Madrid
low.
hasn't really done that well, this season. So,
17 last year, fair play.
yeah,
29
17
points.
last season. And I think because they've fallen away a little bit, he's also fallen away. But I just feel like, I remember like last season, at the beginning of the season, or maybe the season before, we played against City, and it was Raya's first season, and he looked nervous, and Julian Alvarez almost scored because he was like pressing us so hard and he was running so fast at him, and the ball almost went in the back of the net when he was pressing. That's what I need. Like, if we're gonna do this pressing system, we need a striker that can do it. Gyökeres can't do it, but he could. So I like it.
What do you make of, well, this is just rumors, but I remember last summer, Sammy Motbell said Kai's drawing interest from others. We hear there's rumors of a 1-year extension. We know Kai's loved by Mikel Arteta, but purely from an analytical point of view, they might look at it and say, you know what, maybe even Odegaard is a bit different, but they might be looking at a couple of these guys and saying, the roles are kind of changing. You're on big money. Maybe Berta can do other things. For what it's worth, like, what do you make of Bayern Munich links with Kai, and would you sanction it? We're being linked with Kenneth Lara as well from Bayern Munich. If that's,
I mean, if we get Julian Alvarez, yeah, I would, because I don't think we're going to get rid of Gyökeres right away, and there needs to be space in the squad. I don't think you can have Kai, Gyökeres, and another striker in. So I think this would all be,
get rid of Jesus.
Yeah, but you still have 3.
I wouldn't feel comfortable getting rid of Kai. From a sporting point of view, I hear it though.
I would only do it if that was what happened, because we're still going to have Marino, so I don't know. It's a tough one because I'm not really thinking about next season without him, but if they gave us good money for him and we were replacing with somebody else, then you have to think of it. So I don't know. It's a tough one. I'm not pushing Kai out the door. I don't want anybody to think I'm pushing him out the door, but there's certain things that come about like that. You're like, okay, well, maybe we could facilitate it. I'm very interested to see how Berta moves in this summer window.
And don't forget to talk about sales, because you kept saying it, and so did I with Gabriel Jesus. We got to remember Reece Nelson's still contracted to this club. At this point, I respect it, Reece Nelson. Jess, my last question for you then. DG, choice between Alvarez and Crumpty, who you going for? We'll let Jess answer.
Who is that? Is he
the Bournemouth lad? The Bournemouth lad. He's gonna be a star though, man.
Yeah, he'll be a star eventually, but like, do we need to get him? I don't know. I think I'm going with Julian Alvarez, but what do you think?
I don't want to miss out on him. Obviously, if you offer me Julian Alvarez and him,
is he that big of a deal to like not miss out on?
I don't want to miss out on him, but like if you say Julian Alvarez, I'm in right now mode, in it, like I'm hungry. Like he might go off and be the best thing since sliced bread, but Julian Alvarez is more seasoned. He's been in the oven a bit more. So I would, if it's between them and what we're trying to do next season, regardless of how this pans out, I'm going for it. But I don't want to miss out on that Bournemouth lad, man. I think he's an elite finisher. He's still, there's levels of consistency to hit and whatnot, but I think they're gonna make a lot of money off him, as they already know, man. He's a big deal, man. Watch. Hey, you didn't see him at Leo. Come back in.
I think he just really likes him. There's another player out there that I would spend big money on next summer just because.
Who?
I would test the waters for Endrick. I would.
For Endrick?
Yeah.
Yeah, I fuck with that. He's doing his thing in France. I fuck with that. But them, man, they're in love with Real Madrid. Like, it's got to be made abundantly clear this Real Madrid thing's not gonna bang for you. Like, I would do that.
I would definitely at least have a conversation. Like,
yeah, no, I would do that.
He is hilarious. He's so good. And he could play.
You know, he started at Lyon.
Wing. Like, I like him. He could play up front. Ridiculous. I like him a lot.
And he's shameless. He starts lying, saying, "I watch."
He is very shameless.
We need shameless brothers at this club, man. We're not gonna get anywhere, man.
Very shameless, and he'll shoot from like the touchline. Like, he's actually crazy.
And he's about to win the World Cup as well. So
yeah, no, actually, but yeah,
he is gonna win the World Cup. What do you mean he's not gonna win the World Cup? Why you agree? Why are you disagreeing? Remember, I told you Brazil's winning this, Jess. You know.
Okay, all right. Well, I love that for Gabriel and Martinelli. So.
Martinelli playing for Brazil. We're losing receipts, as you mentioned earlier.
Well, but no, I mean, like, they said that he's gonna make it. Like, that little thing.
He is gonna make it.
Like, he's gonna make it, and people were mad about it. And I'm like, you got to have a player like Martinelli in that team. I feel like somebody humble enough. They ain't got enough. They don't have like the humble soldiers. Everybody is like, you know, you gotta have somebody that's willing to go out there and run around. You know, I think he's a good squad player.
And that's Martinelli's thing, man. But with that being said, people, we've had a great, just close to 90 minutes. We appreciate Jess. We appreciate you lot, because the chat is everything. Jess, where can people find you? Even though it's in the title and they should know by now.
You guys can find me at Jessica Black YouTube. That's the new channel name. It's not She Knows Arsenal. It's just so I can expand things and just share all the content that I have.
Go watch that interview she uploaded. I can't say the woman's name. Petilas.
Yeah, that's
good interview that.
Yeah, I did the interview with Alexia Pateas.
That's the name.
So let's talk a little bit about sorry. Because I was going to tell you guys that it's coming out in 2 hours. Like, the actual full interview is coming out in 2 hours at 8 p.m. UK. So if you guys want to take a little look at that, it's about 13 minutes long. I'd really appreciate it.
If you want to, don't spoil it. You didn't hear the time, people. What do you mean if you want to have a look at it? Go fucking have a look at it. Go and subscribe. Go and turn on your notification bells. Even if you're not going to watch it, go fucking leave a comment, boost the algorithm and do all of that. What kind of nonsense are we doing here? Go support our own folks.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was my first ever player interview.
Did you nervous?
Weirdly enough, no, I wasn't. I was just really excited about the opportunity. So, you know, I know people don't all follow women's football, but she's pretty much been one of the best players in the world for a long time. So that was really cool. And I should be having some more stuff dropping in March. So yeah, the Barca player, yes. So that will come out in about 2 hours, 8 p.m. UK time. And then I'm going to record something with DG and take that.
Yeah. Finally, I'm back on her channel. The exile is over.
Yeah.
I do have a question, though, in relation to that interview. Did she see your footballing skills, or did you learn your lesson from the last time? I have to ask, like, did she see your first touch? I hope you didn't get
she didn't see my first touch. I was there to talk about her illustrious career and not my very tame one. So.
No, but we're proud of Jess. By God's grace, there's way more interviews to come. So yeah, go follow her on her platform. You know, there's going to be content with me and her on her platform. Again, just subscribe, notification bells. You don't miss anything. Up the Gunners. And yeah, on that note, any last words, Jess, before we close out?
The link is in the private chat.
Let's make sure it is. No, it's not. 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 See how you can get done dirty, people. You see? Another
it's right there. It says link. Yeah, it's right there.
On my life, it says start the conversation.
Studio. Yeah, it's right there.
Type it again, because it says start the conversation. I can't see anything. Like, can you see this? Hi.
All right. Anyways.
Still ain't got the link, people, by the way.
It's literally right there. I don't know why you're acting like you don't have it.
Don't make me screenshot this. Can you share? Can you share?
Why can you not see it? Why can't you see it?
On a serious note, I'm not joking
I
around.
just posted it again. Do you see it?
Now I've got it. Oh, because
all right.
I've got it now, people. So yeah, on that note, people, stay safe, stay blessed. We got stuff to do. Peace. Say bye then to them.
Bye.
She's horrible, man. Always